Hello everyone, my name is Bibi Hall and I'm the founder of Mind to Mind podcast project. Today our guest speaker is Biybizada Kaipova and she will be talking about reading. How are you?
Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I would like to tell you about the reading in general. Back in my school days, we used to have a lot of obligatory reading at school, where there are like tones of different genres and books, for example, by Leo Tolstoy, War and Peace, which is more than three parts, and each of them like about 200 and 300 pages. Honestly, I didn't read them back in like school days. I just watched the like movie and read the like short version of it. It was about like 20 pages or so. But right after entering the university and starting doing my job, I realized that wow, finally I have freedom to choose what I'm gonna read, and um, and so far, even like after taking like several IELTS tests, like examinations, I still was like forcing myself to read because I have to improve my reading skills, my vocabulary, and etc. I opened to myself the world of comics. This is a genre of reading where you have more pictures rather than words, and that was something like I was finally feeling like I'm like a kid choosing the favorite toy among the the world of toys. The captivating part of it is just like I read different genres of comics, so not just like Western comics like Marvel, but also East Asian, like for example mangas, because basically they are the some kind of a draft version of the future cartoons and animes. And I have watched so far many cartoons and animes based on those mangas, and all those mangas are based on the novels. like so you can also, if you are so interested in mangas, you can also read the novels too. And right after just starting enjoying the process of reading, I finally could also enjoy reading academic books, like for taking IELTS, for example, or maybe for doing for my job. Because as a English language teacher, you have to read a lot. If you still want to be the same step or pace as your students, you have to read. That's your job, part of your job actually. That's why I guess that enjoying the reading is the most important part of it. And right after this, you can also make a habit out of it, like maybe read for like 10 minutes a day, then read maybe like pages. I have a habit of mine to read at least 20 or 30 pages a day. Doesn't matter what source. It could be news, it could be books, it could be information out of websites, for example, fact files. I also used to watch a lot National Geography, where you observe different wild animals, birds, fishes, and I also started reading about them. I actually bought a couple of encyclopedias about them, and the same genre as comics. Encyclopedias, they are full of different colorful pictures, so that you can just visualize what you are reading. And yeah, generally comics are the best genres for reading.
So, what is your favorite book?
Well, that's hard to choose because I am not a picky person, but I would say that Russian literature, to be more precise, Master and Margarita, and from maybe English literature, that's Pride and Prejudice. That's actually the book that I brought today here. So it's a book by Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice. It's about love. Yes, it's a girly book, but it's not only about love. It's also about different like a hierarchy in a society in medieval English, like medieval England. You know that there are two main like characters, Mr. Darcy and Miss Elizabeth Bennet. Mr. Darcy is from a very privileged family, from quite wealthy family, I would say, whereas Elizabeth Bennet is from quite average family, not so rich but not so poor, but still lower in the status than Darcy. That was a hate and love at the same time. First, they hated each other for Elizabeth, that she's too like simple for Darcy. That's why Darcy didn't like quite love at her first sight. And the same about Elizabeth. She also didn't like the arrogance of Mr. Darcy, that he's thinking that he's the only in the world, that he is so high that nobody can reach him. But anyway, somehow, in the end, in the plot twist, yes, when they start knowing each other, their characters, their nature, their true colors, they fall in love. And that's the funniest part of it, and how he works out his mistakes, because he has a friend of his, Mr. Darcy, Mr. Bingley, and Mr. Bingley fell in love with the elder sister of Elizabeth. Well, and he broke their wedding because he said that elder Miss Bennet is not quite worthy of Bingley, because she's so in like desperate condition to get married. So she's thinking about the wedding and the status of Bingley. And Elizabeth finds out about this, and of course she burst out into scandal, like, how could you do this to my sister? And right after this, Darcy realizes that he had already done before this, and started working it out, like helping with like younger sister of Elizabeth, who was kidnapped by like some kind of officer, and he helps her younger sister, and then he helps also his like elder sister that he broke the wedding. And yeah, in the end, everything has a happy ending, I would say.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think there is a movie about it also.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. What did you learn from this book?
Well, the basic moral of this book, you can just find out from the name of it, like pride. When you're proud of something that you have, or that you have achieved, or your family maybe has, and that's about this, about arrogance, not just pride. And prejudice, it's like your expectations or your thoughts about the person before knowing the person personally, literally, like, for example, you can look at the person, he's being too serious, and you say, oh, he's gonna be like someone boring, who's gonna be something like this, or vice versa. You see that the person is very smiling, and you say, oh, that person is very positive. So, but don't touch the book by its cover, as people say. So that's why this book teaches us that we should not be too proud and too assumptive, maybe, and before knowing the person, like himself or herself personally. So about this.
That's interesting. So, when you started reading books,
Mhm.
what changed in you?
Well, first of all, I started learning myself. People think that when you are reading something, you learn about the world. It is true, but also with this, you can also learn yourself, your personal traits, your horizon, your thinking, and you can control even your thoughts. Because when you're reading, you can catch yourself, maybe the same traits as the characters. And if you bump into a situation like this in the book, you may find out the way in your real life problems too. For example, the same Pride and Prejudice teaches us to be not too proud, or not too like prejudging, right? And that's why, for example, maybe you can be quite maybe rest assured, can feel more confident, and you can also work out your personal problems too.
That's a good explanation. Well, what would you recommend for beginners? How can they make reading a habit?
Well, first of all, try to find out the genre. It could take a lot of time because for me to start loving and to make a habit out of reading took about maybe a year. Whole year I was searching for the genres that I could take and read. No matter what, how do I feel? Like, am I exhausted, tired, energetic, like motivated, demotivated? So they were basically, first of all, like animes, first of all, and then I found out that animes are based on mangas and novels. So that's why I started them. Maybe you also like watching cartoons and animes or films.
I used to watch it with my
Uh-huh.
brother, and I only watched Naruto, and it was so interesting. Like,
Yeah, it is.
it teaches us not to give up no matter what, and fight for our dreams. Yeah. Um, for me, reading was also a problem. Like,
Mm.
I couldn't read at all because I felt like it's boring.
Mm.
When I was preparing for SAT, reading was my weakest side, and I thought that I should read books in order to improve my reading. And I just started reading random books.
Mm.
Um, First, initially, it was really hard to keep reading, and then, but after I read a book called Atomic Habits, and I learned how to make a habit, uh, and I did reading
Mm-hmm.
a habit for myself. Right now, I read every single day, and I actually love reading psychological books
Mm-hmm.
because this is my interest, and I want to pursue it in the future. And psychological books, I think they can help understand myself better and improve my horizon, think differently, yeah, understand people's emotions, my own actions, and many more.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
So psychological books, yes, actually they are very popular genre, and especially when you enter any random bookshop, the first that you can see that's Atomic Habits, of course,
Yeah.
and for example, Rich Dad and Poor Dad. Yes, it's about also thinking and plus, how can I say, literacy, or how can I say, financial
Yeah,
literacy
yeah.
that people nowadays are very into. And
Did you
yes,
read that book?
yes, I did. But basically, they were the things that I already knew.
Mm,
So it's about the way you think, it's about the way you organize your life. And Atomic Habits is mostly about small steps to the bigger
yeah.
like goal. But that's kind of quite obvious, but the Atomic Habit books gives it with great examples,
Mm,
like how he survived when he, for example, was playing some kind of
yeah.
sport. He got a
He.
bad trauma, and he was like restoring himself right after this, and it took a lot of time and a lot of like let's say emotional, how can I say, motivation.
Mm,
And yes, basically, I would say that first you can try different genres like sci-fi, or maybe I don't know, some kind of fantasy books. For example, in a childhood, I guess we watched a lot of fantasy movies, especially like Harry Potter, or like Cinderella, or like Little Red Riding Hood. I actually started reading with fairy tales. Then after this I switched to the like different comics, because the books that you read from your childhood, they are the basis. When you cannot read, like I mean, before you know how to read and write, usually your parents, your siblings, elder siblings, read you different stories, or like fairy tales. I guess this is also some kind of a help to encourage like young learners to start reading and love reading,
mm,
especially you know that there are different types of learners. For example, visual learners, they love pictures. I'm also part of them, like because I love seeing what I'm reading. And also they could be kinesthetic. Kinesthetic, it's when you love touching, like something that you want to learn. For example, you're reading the story about, for example, I don't know, like animals, different animals, like for example about the wolf and the rabbit. You can just like bring the animals, like this is wolf and this is rabbit, and this story is gonna be about them. Like touch it. Also, they could be audio
Yeah,
learners,
yeah.
yes, and usually they are kids. They love listening to it, and then they can also repeat it. So yeah, and usually it's good to do right before going to sleep, going to bed. I mean, this is the part when children are relaxed and everything goes so smooth. And there is even like a psychological, if I'm not mistaken, experiment that there were two groups of children. One just go to bed straight after like washing up, and the second group were washing up. They're being read some fairy tales, and then they go to bed. Both of them were fine, but the second group were more creative, more energetic in the morning, and their even dreams were smooth and longer. So I can say that reading books to your children or to your younger siblings is a very good way, first of all, for bringing up, because every fairy tale contains some kind of a morale. Teaches us to be good, to be kind, uh, but I would also look at some kind of modern fairy tales. Modern fairy tales, they are usually they teach us about our personal boundaries, how to tell no people, how to not feel guilty when you tell no. This is some basic, I guess, learns about personal boundaries that we back in our childhood didn't have. So, well, what about you? What's your favorite book?
I haven't read that much books, but for now, it's, I should say, Atomic Habits for now,
Mm.
because I learned lots of things from that
Mhm.
book. And I also read Taki Razlin Miri by
Mhm.
Feya Moran,
Oh.
and that book was also interesting.
Mm.
It's a love between teenagers. Like,
Mhm.
a girl has a hijab and she lives in America, and a boy is kind of bad boy.
Oh.
Yeah, and he falls in love with her. She has problems, like
Mm.
everyone bullies her because of her hijab,
Mm.
and she will have lots of struggles with her classmates.
Mm.
And at the end, that boy will accept Islam for the girl,
Mm.
and yeah, this is how the story ends.
Whoa, that's very interesting.
Yeah,
I would say even not just interesting, it's a bit unusual, I
yeah,
would say,
unusual.
because changing your religion, yes, it's something very personal, and you should have a huge courage to do this,
Yeah,
because belief, it's something that is unbreakable, and changing it, like converting to another religion is something very spiritual, I would say.
and the fact that they were only teenagers, not
Mm.
adults, makes it even more unusual.
Hmm.
Because a teenage boy changes over time because of the girl and accepts Islam. He has a courage.
Yes, a big one.
Yeah, a big one.
So, good. And so, generally, do you love reading now?
Yeah, I love reading. I think that everyone can love reading when they read.
Mm.
Before, when they don't read, they don't know what is. Uh,
How does it feel like?
yeah, how does it feel like? Before starting reading books, I thought that I can't read.
Mm.
Um, I've I also read Rich Dad and Poor Dad,
Mm.
and I didn't like that book.
Well,
Um,
it's kind of specific book. It's more
yeah,
about
business,
yeah,
and
business.
that wasn't my thing. And it was my one of my first books. That's why maybe I couldn't really understand it
Mm.
fully. Um, but it can be useful for lots of
Yes,
people.
the name is quite provocative because they are dividing people into poor and rich. But this is not about money, actually.
Yeah, It's about
Even
mindset.
yes, yes, it's about the mindset, rich mindset and poor mindset, because people with like, let's say, wealthy people, let's say, or rich people, they could be with poor mindset, and vice versa. People with from average family financially, they could have rich mindset. So this is more about the mindset, so we should not focus on just money. It's also about how the people live, and in different mindset, and how do they construct their habits, and what does it lead to. So choosing your major, it's not 18 people. When you are choosing your major, you just do something like into like according to your intuition, yes. But people realize what is their real major only by the age of 25. So even I am not sure about what am I doing right now. Even if I'm doing my PhD right now.
Oh, how old are you?
Yeah, I am 23 years old. In
Wow.
2 days, yes, in 2 days I will be 24.
Wow.
Yes, how could I like do this by the age of 24? Is that I started going to school at the age of 6.
Mm.
Then at 16, I finished my school and straightly entered the university. At about 21, I finished my bachelor. I did my bachelor. At about 22, I have already done my master's. That was just 1 year, because I did my bachelor in Tashkent at the World Languages University of World Languages, and masters at Webster University, also in Tashkent. So yeah, and right after this, maybe in a year, like I would say this year, I was accepted to do my doctorate degree.
Wow.
So
Congratulations.
thank you very much.
That's so
Yes, this
impressive.
is just my first year. I'm still having some challenges. I mean, like, I still didn't choose my topic,
Mm.
so it's still in the process of forming. I'm doing a lot of reading right now, especially also like writing too, because when you just when you are just reading and do not how can I say,
Like,
reflecting on this, right, this is useless.
yeah.
So I'm doing quite a lot these days.
I had an assignment yesterday to read 250 pages of book and write 40 pages of reflection about
Mm,
that. And it was really hard at
it is.
first, but it is really useful. It helps you understand the book fully and reflect on it, not just summarize, but think about it.
Mm. Also, there is a notion that's called plagiarism. Plagiarism is just when you're copying someone's work and telling, oh, this is mine. So reflection is a good way of avoiding plagiarism,
Yeah.
especially if you're doing something on a scientific academic level, especially you're writing a thesis or you're writing maybe an article, yes, and you just, for example, read something close to your topic and you can mention it by reflecting on it. Like, for example, according to scientist A, the same topics that I'm like studying right now had a positive like result. I'm
Mm.
gonna change, for example, some terms, and I'm gonna see is it gonna be the same or is it gonna have some flaws. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is usually how we write articles.
I was doing that. I was comparing news article to an actual scientific study,
Hmm.
and I had to write like 3 pages of capstone project, my comparison,
Hmm.
and yeah, the rule was um, not doing plagiarism,
Hmm.
and yeah, main thing was about reflecting and writing about my own understanding.
Well, so the reading is quite connected to writing.
Yeah,
I've got a question. Which do you prefer, writing or typing?
I prefer writing
Hmm.
because um, when you physically writing it, it feels different. Like
Mm.
you are living in it. For
Hmm.
example, I write every day about my day. How did I spend my day? What happened? What did I learn? uh, I have my notebook and I do handwriting a lot.
Mm.
It helps me to understand myself better, and I also tried typing.
Hmm.
It's also good, but I can't dive into it so deeply as in handwriting.
Yes, and even international IELTS tests also took into consideration this part of people, because some people just don't feel that they can type. They can physically do it, but it's not the same feeling as writing. So that's why, starting on from 2026, they included in a writing part only, that you can choose. Do you want to have a paper delivered or computer delivered? So yeah, I guess that's good part.
Yeah. So you are an English language teacher, right?
Right. I am an English language and literature teacher because
Mm,
I'm working at Karkopak State University, and in the faculty of foreign languages and in the department of English language and literature. So
wow.
I'll have to read because I teach it. So
Mm.
you see that it's I was studying, reading, I was working, and I'm still like I mean working and still reading.
How do you encourage your students to read more?
Well, I start maybe by giving them some prehistory, like
Mhm.
to catch their attention, to grab their attention, to be more precise. And I don't know, like this is some kind of a teaser that we have usually in
Yeah.
movies. Yes, I just give something in the beginning and just like keep silence after this. And they themselves found out the books, they start reading it, they start watching the films, and yeah, I usually tease them to read.
Mm, that's good. Um, have you tried listening to audiobooks?
Audiobooks are also fine, especially for people who are busy and do not have pretty much time to take the book and physically like read it. And so yeah, like that's why I guess that audiobooks are also helpful, especially as I mentioned before, if you're like audio learner,
Mm,
like, and you can choose also different audiobook readers. I mean, like the people who are reading
mm,
for you, and this is a lazy type of reading, I would say, but it's also very good.
yeah. If you are busy,
Yeah, if you're
I
busy, if you're
tried.
lazy.
I tried audiobook, and it's actually good, but it doesn't feel like reading the physical book.
Mm,
I read the half of the physical book, and then how the another half I listened it, and I just had to reread that
mm,
part because I didn't really understand
yeah.
while listening it. It was a book called Mindset.
Oh, it's about flexible mindset
Yeah,
and
fix it
fixed mindset.
mindset and
Oh.
growth mindset. My teacher um, recommended this book, my IELTS teacher, when I was preparing to IELTS. We had a holiday for 3 weeks, and he gave us assignment to read this book, and after that retell it book
Mm,
in the lesson. So I had 3 weeks and I read that book. that that book is good. It teaches you how to uh, switch your mindset from
mm,
fix it to growth,
mm,
how not to give up and how to learn from your mistakes and how to enjoy the process of
mm.
doing something.
Yes, of course. And but like some people complain about that it's big, repeating itself too many times, like the same idea but just
Yeah,
different
exam.
examples. So this is the way people actually write the books. They want to give you just one message. Usually one book is just
Yeah,
one message, but in very very like tiny details. Because for example, the first example, if it's about like English and teaching, I could really understand it. But if your major is, for example, mathematics, you cannot quite get it. So
mm,
that's why usually writers try to give different examples in different spheres so that you can really get through the message. So that's why I guess you should read the whole book so you can see at different angles to the same situation but in different angles.
mm.
So yeah.
and you
Really,
can learn how to apply it in your major.
of course, right. And generally, as I said before, reading and writing, they are closely connected. That's why when I started improving my reading skills, my writing skills also started growing. I mean, I improved them a lot because before, if you take like IELTS examination, I just used to use the some kind of cliches, or I used to just learn the specific like words to start, and to finish the sentences. But right now, I would say like maybe a year or two, I started really understanding what am I writing, and to like try to give the specific and precise meaning of what am I doing in my essays or in my reports in writing task one. So yeah, this way.
That's good. And do you have another book that you read and change it the way you think that influenced you a lot?
Uh, well, I mentioned before Russian literature, Master and Margarita, and this is a fantasy book. It's about um, some history from Christianity. It's about Jesus. They are pieces. Like there is Master. He's a writer in the book, and he writes about how Jesus was executed, and that he was very kind, and there was a Ponti Pilate, that's the executioner, that he decided to execute him. And there are a lot of different side stories. Like I mean, they are USSR period. There are like a group of people in the theater, and Satan himself comes to the city of Saint Petersburg and gives a concert about how people behave when they are given money, wealth, status, how they change. Actually, the money do not change people. They just show their true colors in an intensified way. For example, Satan gives a concert where he provides like a wardrobe full of glamorous clothes, like latest shoes, yes, and accessories. And he tells like, you're gonna change. I'm gonna exchange with you with these glamorous like dresses and boots in change of your old ones. And of course, ladies start changing it because new things are always better than old, and they start doing this. And the second part of the concert was like um, sending money from the sky, dropping from the sky, and everybody was catching it and almost killing each other to catch more. And also, this shows the greed of people. And right after this, when the concert is over, it was all the trick. The clothes that he gave in exchange of their old ones disappeared, and all of them, they were in their underwears in the concert. The money that they took also disappeared. So this is very funny at the same time, but actually this is very serious situation. It shows how people are so how can I say, so greed, and their greed cannot be insaturated. So there are different other stories about the Margarita. Margarita is a lover of Master. She loves Master and plus his creation. He like the Master writes about the Jesus and how he was executed. And right after this, like they after they fell in love, he found that she's married. Like so, there is a plot love twist too. And in the end, in order to save Master, because Master is very depressed after writing and finishing that very story about Jesus, and he even goes to mental hospital because of his depression. And she makes a deal with a Satan like he's organizing a feast, a ball. and his underworld, and in turn of her being a host in that very ball, uh, he could save Master, and she does it. She will be a host there, and she sees how different sinners, how can I say, appeared in the underworld. Some of them killed their babies. Some of them killed other people. They were different musicians. They were different people from different fields, kings, queens, murders, serial murders. And she sees everything, and she just very unpleasantly surprised, I would say. But she doesn't give a hint of her surprise, because she, as a host, has no right to be surprised. And she just calmly greets every person that comes to the ball. And right after this, as she has been a host, Satan fulfilled the wish of Margarita, but they actually both died, and they were in a different world. So, in order to be in a different world, they had to die together. So, it's a very twisted novel. You have to read fully. I guess they are about 200 or 250 pages, and I guess I watched. First of all, I watched the movie of it because I didn't quite get it from reading, and I watched the movie from Russian theater right after this. When I realized how it, what is the structure of it, I started reading it, and so far I have read it maybe 6 times. So I would definitely say that it's my favorite type of reading.
Have you read any Uzbek literature books?
Uh, of course, especially I have read Hamsa by Alisher Navai. Yeah, this is the five basic stories. Like, if I'm not mistaken, they are about Layli Majnun, the Wall of Iskandar, and
Farhad
yeah,
Shirin?
for Had and Shireen, like most of them are about like love stories and how people can sacrifice for their love, and different other genres too. But basically, yes, I would definitely say from Uzbek literature, like by Alishar Navai Hamza. Also, I read Otken Kunlar, Past Days. They are very also interesting. It tells about Uzbek family. It's also a love story, but it also teaches that we can love only one person. And people, what can people do out of love and out of jealousy? So it teaches us to be very, how can I say, uh, attentive to who we are choosing as our love partners. So it's very interesting. Yes.
I have a question. As you read Hamza,
Mm.
is it hard to understand, as people say it is written in Old Uzbek language?
Well, it depends. It depends on your level, because you can understand Uzbek language in like everyday level, like general Uzbek language. But when it comes to old Uzbek language, yes, it can make you obstacles. It can make it a little bit difficult for you to understand it. But as you should read, reread, underline what you don't understand, and if you need, you may ask your parents or your Uzbek language teachers, what does it mean? Or you can just basically search for like on the internet, what does it mean. So yeah, it could be difficult, especially if you're reading an original version. I have read Hamza in different languages. It has all of them have been translated into Russian and English, and I have read, I guess, in Spanish version too. Yes, this is very good for you to practice your foreign languages, to read the same piece of writing, for example, yes, or reading in different languages. For example, we can take out my favorite book, Atomic Habits. Yes, your favorite book and mine too. I have read it in different languages, so it helps me to improve my vocab, because the level of English in Atomic Habit is quite high. There are a
Yeah.
lot of high level vocab. So yeah.
I thought there are no translated versions of Hamza,
Hmm.
because I searched it on the internet and it says there is no translated versions and original version is not also available. So I was surprised when you said that you
Uh,
read original version.
well, they are actually. When I was preparing for my entrance examination, my second subject was Russian language and literature, and in the literature part, there was a part of Uzbek literature too. If I'm not mistaken, there is a book called Maslova. There are 4 or 5 parts of it, and they are divided into periods, like medieval period from 13 to 18th century. Then there is that's period is called, if I'm not mistaken, golden century. Then there is silver century, that's 20th century, end of 19th, the beginning of 20s, and there is modern literature part, and the fourth part is Uzbek literature, and they are given those let's say parts of Hamza. If you wish, I can share with you the Russian and English version of Hamza, if
Okay.
you wish to
Okay.
read. So, and Uzbek versions are also available. I guess that we should search in the libraries. When I was back in Tashkent at the Ali Sharnavi library, I just asked. I have the card, student card of that very library, like subscription card, I would say, and you don't need to pay for this. Like for each book, you just need to pay for card. It costs maybe like about 30,000 sims, about $3, but that's quite good because you can take borrow books from there, read there, and also e-versions of the books. There you can definitely find Hamza, I would say.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, because people stopped going to libraries, and they go if they are forced to. But when as I mentioned before, after entering university, I started choosing my own genre, and of course, the first place when I went was library. So I just searched different like uh, aisles. They are, for example, the aisle of books that dedicated to mathematics, to algebra, for example, to psychology, to philosophy, history. You can just go through those aisles and just choose your own one. So yeah, maybe starting from library and choosing your favorite genre is also good.
Environment is important. In library, there are people who read, and it can also influence you to read rather
Of
than
course.
reading at home or in different place. Library really influences.
And also, in order to make it more
Yeah.
aesthetics, you can bring some, for example, highlighters, some notebook with very lucrative and beautiful cover page, very fancy pens to take notes what you have read, because making your atmosphere more, how can I say, supportive, or the thing that make you feel more pleasant, like pleasant atmospheres that urges you to read. I guess it's also very helpful for you, readers.
How many books did you read when from when you started reading?
Whoa, I cannot tell the specific number, but I would say more than, like, during the university entrance exam preparation, I guess more than 200 books. If I take just Russian language and literature, English language and literature more than 100, and plus history was my third subject. I cannot specifically say how many books I have read for history because they are different, like different books. They are basic school subject books, and additional books with the dates, books with a specific, for example, related historical records. And also from history, I guess I read more than 100 books. So just for university entrance examination, I have read about 500 books. And so far, I have wish list, I would say. They are 100 books for a year to read, and I usually cover about 80% of it. So per year, I read from 70 to 80 books, but they are not so long. I try to choose in a medium size, like for example, up to 200 pages or up to 100 pages. And this, I can even read the books with 10 pages, like fairy tales. It's also one book.
So reading became your part of your life. Yeah.
Right, of course, yes. And if you prepare for yourself beforehand, like for example, wish lists of books that you want to read, people when they are making wishes on eve of New Year, like on the 31st of December, they usually make wish. Oh, I want to be a billionaire. I want to be to travel there and here. You can add one plus activity there. Create a wish list of your books that you want to read in the next or following year.
That's
So.
good. I also made a goal to read 12 books this
Good.
year because I just started and reading each month.
Mhm.
Mm, I can read 12 books this year.
And also, I have a habit of mine that I cannot keep all those books that I'm having at my home. I have at my home, and I usually organize a giveaway ceremonies. Maybe during my like working process, for example, I can make a game, and I can bring three books from my home, and like for the places like first, second, and third places, I give them as a present to them. And also when I meet new people in my life, I don't know why I start giving them books as a present. For example, especially if I know that they love reading, and I try to choose specifically to their major or to their interests or their personal traits or something like this. Because choosing a book for somebody is very difficult. You should know the person quite well, and only maybe right after this you can choose something for them to read, because they may just leave it in their bookshelf and just not touch it even.
Aren't you interested in making a home library?
I already do have a home library of mine. For example, my dad has a library of his for more than 1,000 of books. His library is very big. Mine is quite tiny compared to him, to his, because mine is about only 200 books or maybe some even less, and most of them, of course, in English. Uh, some of them maybe about sci-fi and comics. So and my mother also has a library. Her books basically about biology, because it's her major, and I love her books because there are a lot of pictures about different animals and creatures. My brother has a huge library, even bigger than my father's. Because he's a medical student, he has more than 2,000 books in his library. So
That's cool.
yes, compared to his, our whole family is very like tiny. So I wouldn't say that he's a bookworm. He has to read this because of his major, and he hates it actually. I don't know why, but he needs it.
Maybe it's because they're they are academic books, not like interesting
Yeah, yeah.
romance or
There are
whatever.
no books of his favorite. I mean, like he does it because he has to do this. Maybe he also likes something like comics, but generally when I say, "Oh, let's read something," he says no, just without any explanation, without any like reasons why, and etc. So.
My mom also has a tiny library, and all of her books are psychological books about psychology, psychosomatics, about body and mind connection. And I'm also interested in psychology, so um, I will read her books.
Good, of course. So you can combine your
Yeah.
like libraries, like I mean, together, and yeah, that's very good. But I wouldn't dare to open my browsers because it's too difficult for me, I guess. But I read about biology, general biology, about human anatomy, like the part of it, because it's quite helpful for you to know what is what in your body. Especially, I'm interested in brain, which is
I'm also
yeah
interested.
less studied, the least studied, I would say, organ of our body, uh, because we even know more about our planet than about our body.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, what do you want to say?
Well, to people who want to read and make a habit out of it, I would personally recommend you to visit libraries physically. Of course, there are electronic libraries, but it's kind of difficult. First of all, the subscription usually you need to pay for this. And libraries you can visit in your own hometown and search for your favorite genre first of all, because I also spent a lot of time for choosing for myself my favorite genre. And right after this, as we mentioned before, and in the Atomic Habits in the book, it was mentioned that it's better to start with small steps. You don't need to read 100 pages in one day. You can start with one page. So better less than nothing. So
Yeah, the most important thing is consistency.
yeah, consistency. Do it
Yeah.
on a daily basis and make a habit out of it. And also try to surround yourself with people who also love reading. Maybe the same genre as you, and you can even discuss and create some kind of book club or reading clubs, so that you can surround yourself with reading people.
Yeah. Environment matters
Of
because.
course, right. Nurture or nature, they both matter.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you for watching. It was a really nice conversation.
Thank you
I
very
enjoyed
much.
it too much. And I really found a person whom I can share my opinions about books. And I was impressed by your speech. Like,
Thank you.
you speak really good and explain things very with a lot of details, and I
Thank
really
you.
love it.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much
It
for
was a
coming.
pleasure of mine. Me too. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
Bye.